Hey everyone, my name is Daryl McMillan. Today I'm here with Shankool, and this is gonna be music at the library rehashed. Shankool, so how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Hmm,
Just chilling.
yeah, trying to just make the best of things. Pretty much, it's just
Yeah.
kind of going. Yeah.
I just kind of stretch things out as long as they go for. I kind of changed my schedule now that I'm back in Bay City at my parents' house, but so I don't know, just more people in this house that I'm interacting with. But
Hmm.
I keep to myself at my house in Kalamazoo. But I would just like stretch things out and get up, eat, watch some YouTube videos and stuff. And before I knew it, it was 3 p.m. And I was like, now it's time to do things.
Oh yeah,
I'd start my day at 3 p.m.
it feels so weird not having to go anywhere. 'Cause honestly, it feels like it's just like a constant weekend. Honestly,
Yes.
like I've been
I,
having issues trying to. I know if I keep like to a set schedule, everything's gonna be okay. Like, all right, it's like 9, 10 o'clock. Get up, brush your teeth, then get to class and do everything. And then after that, it's pretty much up in the air.
mhm.
Hmm. So, I guess starting off things like, how'd you get started with music? Like, what? Like, how'd you get started?
Well, I would say the beginning of my musical journey, if you will, was when I was a freshman in high school. I was friends with a group of guys that they all played instruments and they're all really into music, and I really wasn't. I was making YouTube videos at the time. I was into video games, but they were really into music. They'd always talk about that, but I couldn't really relate. Two of them played guitar, one of them played drums. And one day they were jamming, and I was with them. And they're like, Noah, if you play the bass guitar, we could finally start a band because there was like no bassist that they knew. And so I was like, I don't like, what do I have to lose? Why not? Because
Hmm.
I feel like I was like the nerdiest one of them. And I was like, that could be cool. I could be a little cooler if I played the bass. So I started playing the bass, and then I've just slowly, like, totally flipped into way more of a music person than my other interests faded away. Like, I don't play video games at all anymore, and I don't like not into YouTube. Like, I'm really just into music. And yeah, I remember they're like, all right, the first two albums you got to listen to before we start this band is you got to listen to Blue Album by Weezer, and you got to
Hmm.
listen to Nevermind by Nirvana. I never listened to an album until at this point in my life. I think I was 15. And I was like, okay. And then I listened to those albums and I was like, that was crazy. I like this. And so, yeah, I just played it in like a few iterations. Like it was like different combinations of the same people in high school. We just kept like forming bands with different, slightly different combinations. But bands are very difficult to keep going.
Oh yeah, everybody's doing their own different things, has different goals. Oh yeah. Honestly, depending on where you are, it can be extremely easy to form a band or like nigh impossible. Like I remember back in high school, I tried to form a band. It was just a combination of not having the right people and not having people with enough time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like even just to have a like successful local band is so hard because like you all like a big thing that I would run into is like commitment levels. Like everybody has a different
Hmm.
commitment level to this thing because they're also doing usually their own stuff, some of them. And so they this is like their side project. This is your main project. And so it like doesn't mesh that way. And like to find people that all have the same taste and the same vision is very hard. Cause I think we would try and do it where it's like, oh, we're all equals, we all want to write. But like most bands are really just like one
One or
person
two.
writing
Yeah.
everything, maybe two. But like once you get three people writing a song, I feel like that's like almost impossible.
Hmm. It starts everybody's like dipping their finger in the jar and everything. It's just so it's so many ideas that you can't come up with what a solid one would be.
Yeah, it gets watered down. It's like too many cooks in a kitchen.
Hmm. Okay. So how is it like? Because personally, I don't know what it's like to perform necessarily by myself. It feels like I'm not a guitarist or anything, so I'm like a percussion type person, so it wouldn't necessarily work anyway. So how is it
Mm-hmm.
sort of like to get up on stage, sort of just by yourself, you and your guitar, just go?
It was really weird at first. Because comparing it to the performing I did when I was in high school, I was really into theater, and I did a lot of like plays and musicals, like all this stuff my high school would put on. I did that. I've done a few community shows past high school as well. And like with acting, I feel like acting came really natural to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like I never really got nervous for it because I was like, oh, this is just a character. Like I'm confident with my acting. If I screw up in acting, I'm like, I can catch myself in character, or I can like if like nobody's judging me because I'm just playing this other person. Like it's not me.
It's
And then when I
separate.
first started playing music, I would get so nervous because I'm like, this is just me up there. Like I wrote these songs and people are gonna be like judging me. And I would like
Mm-hmm.
take it so personally. But then like I finally like in like my early performances, like are in my opinion they're pretty bad. Like I'm just very stiff up there. You can tell that I'm uncomfortable. I'm very nervous. I don't know what to do. But and then that would make my musicianship bad because I just wasn't comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But then I realized that I started viewing Shankool um the um the performance persona as a character. And I was like, this really isn't me. Like the like yeah, it's rooted in thoughts and ideas that I have, but it's kind of like an accentuation of those ideas. And that it's just been grown. Like when I figured that out, like my performances got better, and they've just becoming like they've just continued to change from there. Like I'm doing like more theatrical stuff, just I don't know, just I have more visions with like the more if I get more resources and stuff, I want to like, go bigger and bolder with things. And I'm even like recently sometimes writing lyrics that really aren't directly from my experiences, are more so just like what this character that I've kind of thought about would do or say.
Mm-hmm. So I guess going off that, what is first off, like, how'd you come up with the name Shankool?
Well, it's my last name.
Oh, it's,
Yeah,
I never
yeah,
heard.
it's my last name. I
Oh,
I like literally thought about a like a band name for so long. I just was like, I cannot think of anything that I would want to call myself, and I'm just like, Noah Shankool is a pretty like unique name. It's like I understand why
mm-hmm.
people, because a lot of people will have band names, but they're really just one person. Like I think of like LCD Sound System is a band I love, but it's really just James Murphy, but he just calls himself that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so like I understand that because James Murphy isn't that like interesting of a name. It's a very like generic name. Whereas like how many Shane Cools do you know?
You're the only
So
one so far.
yeah, so I'm like it's not a common name, so I can use that to my advantage, and it sounds like people think it sounds interesting. It's
Mm-hmm.
got cool in the name, so might as well just roll with it. And so I just to make it feel less of a person and more of just like an entity. I just go by like I just took my first name out of it. It's kind of like what like Brian Eno, like that the producer and artist, like when
Mm-hmm.
he has put stuff out, it'd just be under Eno in the past, and so I liked that.
Yeah, it works, honestly. Like I don't know why for some reason I didn't know that was your last name. It just never dawned to me like, of course.
A lot of people, because I'll just say it at shows or like in class, um, people just call me by my last name, and so they think my name is Shane Cool, and a lot of people have called me Shane at shows. I haven't seen it spelled out, and I just think my first name's Shane.
Hmm.
But yeah.
You just gotta keep it distant.
hmm
So what is like the Shankool character? Like how would you like describe him?
Um, I would just say, because like in life, there are always those things that like we wish we could have said, or the ways we wish it could, like a certain situation could have gone if we were just bolder, or we like didn't have certain ties that we wanted, like ties with people that we didn't want to cut,
Mm.
or just social experiments that you'd be like, wouldn't it be really interesting if like this happened if I acted this way? But it's like you gotta act like a normal person in society. You can't like go around just being this total wild card all the time. And so like I just kind of think of that um when I'm on stage and stuff is just like, those like cuz I'm someone that's like kind of on edge a lot of the time. And so but you got to uh put out a more of a calm persona just when you're in life. You got to keep it together. Not that I'm always about to like
Hmm.
freak out, but it just like
It's more like a calmer, more like a true version of you almost.
what was that
More like a calmer, more like raw version of you type thing.
in regards to what?
Shankool.
I actually see Shankool as like the more of a not evil, but he's more like he is the wild card. Like he doesn't care.
Hmm.
Like he'll just do something a little um in the moment and not really care what the repercussions are.
Hmm.
And like doesn't care if he's displaying like all of the anxious thoughts that are going through him, if he's just letting them out just unfiltered. Like he's just a total unfiltered, like anxious wild card in my view.
Okay. It's like a. I was gonna say like a Slim Shady, but let's not go that far. Like,
That's funny.
um, into the next thing. Just reading my list real quick. Um, so like I think we went over this a little bit already, but like we can go into a little bit more. Like, what sort of like inspires you when you make your music? Like other artists, like your friends or family, or like life events or what have you.
Like artist wise, um, like some of my biggest ones would be David Byrne, he was the front man of Talking Heads,
Mm-hmm.
and you can hear a lot of their influence in my music, from like their like dancey qualities, their groovy, funky stuff that they would put in the music mixed with punk rock elements. Because they're like a perfect band for me because I love like dance grooves and stuff like that, but I don't particularly like what like the topics in dance music, because it's usually just like we're having fun, this is a good time. But I relate more to like the ethos of punk rock.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't always love just like the presentation of punk rock. And so like bands that will put those two together or like take punk in more interesting directions are really influential for me, which is like I'd say my favorite genre, and the genre I like would like it's like I would classify myself as this. It's because that's what I'm moving towards. That's what I'm inspired by is post punk, which
Mm-hmm.
post punk is really like, yeah, there are like sounds that are very common in post punk, but it also like two post punk bands can sound like nothing alike, and it's really just like I said, the punk ethos. It's like that punk rock energy and mindset of rebellion and like darkness, but making more of an artistic statement in it, and like usually melding together more genres to make it more artistic and interesting, which is what Talking Heads did. I
Mm-hmm.
also love LCD Sound System because they make like really like the engineering on them is on their stuff is really good. James Murphy does it all himself, but he's also just an incredible songwriter. Like the songs make you want to dance, but when you listen to the lyrics, they're really sad and or introspective. Sometimes they're even funny though. They're just like sarcastic and stuff. And really, those are probably my two favorite bands. I also love David Bowie,
Mm-hmm.
and I relate to him a lot in the sense that like um, I don't like to I like to constantly like reinvent what I'm doing, and like I just put out an EP, and then but the next EP it's still going to be me, but like I'll probably dive into sounds that weren't present on the previous one, because it's like I get bored. I want to always like search for new ground. And he was very theatrical with his like public persona and the way he presented himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think of Bowie a lot, Bowie and David Byrne, because they're both theatrical and they understand the art of performance. And so, yeah, those are like my three, I'd say, biggest idols.
So you take a lot of inspiration, especially from like the actual show part of it, not just the actual performance, but the actual like the performance of more or less like how they present themselves type thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because in like pop music, and I just mean like popular music in general, which like I feel like I'm going for. Um, it's like people connect to an aesthetic just as much as they connect to the music. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
they can get behind the way what a person or a band is kind of representing in their message and like their visuals, like that's literally just as powerful. Like there are bands that I find just really cool or interesting that you could get into just by like some of the album art or like the way they may like you see pictures of them and you're like, I want to know what that sounds like, or it just like makes the sounds make more sense. You're like, oh yes, like it all comes together. Like thinking about that is like almost just as important as the music.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Um. So from there, like so what have you been up to like recently? I guess before like everything sort of like went to hell, sort of just before that and just up to like now. Like what have you been up to?
I released an EP on March 27th. That was a little over a week ago.
Oh, so that's fresh. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just released an EP. It's 5 songs. Um, with this EP, and this is like the most amount of time I've ever put into songs. Like I really like I don't know, I just focused a lot of energy into them. Like I wrote the 5 songs in August
Mm-hmm.
of 2019, and I was just like constantly coming back and revising until like February.
Jeez. So what's
So
that like 5 months almost? 5 or 6?
yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, it wasn't like every day or every week, but I'd go through like segments of like going back and redoing things. And then like, yeah, I just wanted to, because all of 2019, I like had the challenge of just putting out content. And so I put out, my goal is to put out a single every month
Mm-hmm.
of 2019, which I didn't do. I didn't do it. I did not do it because I like failed. I like got towards the end and I'm just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. Like I feel like I have found a sound and I just want to like focus on like this EP and this new coming sound,
Mm-hmm.
because um putting out all the singles was good because it got my name out there and like people saw that I was like serious, like, oh, he actually like he is
Make
serious about
stuff regularly. Yeah.
wants to make a lot of it. And it gave me a chance to experiment with different sounds. So like a lot of those singles sound like totally different from each other. And so like maybe I'd make a single and I'd be like, yeah, I'd put it out and I'd think, I don't ever want to go down that route with that genre again. It's not me. Or I'd put something on and be like, I think like there were elements in there that I'd want to like roll with. And then once I got to the end of the year, I started to like really listen to punk music and like just realize, and I kind of knew this all along, that it's like um I just relate to punk rock and I relate to the punk ethos. I consider myself a punk musician, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's like sometimes it's not what you think of when you think of punk rock, because like in my mind, like David Bowie is like punk rock, but not like he did a whole bunch of different genres, but it's just he always came at it like there's this interview where he like says like the creative process to him is this like he always attacks everything with like this anger, like it's just like finally like coming out of him. That's how I feel. It's like it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I'm gonna write a song. It's like it's just exploding out of me. And
Mm-hmm.
so even if it's not like punk, it's still punk.
Yeah. It's still like the essence of it, but it's just like it's like a newer. just it's a hybrid, it's a
Mhm.
fusion type punk.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's like with all the sounds that are at our like fingertips today, it's like it's almost more about like the approach and the thought process than it is the sounds,
Mm.
if that makes any sense. Because it's like two things can have like totally different sounds, but it's like you could be into both of them because it's like the process and the messaging like is similar and speaks to you.
So like, how is it like its purpose almost type thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hmm. So yeah, for the most part, I've seen from your work. I haven't honestly. I've seen not too much of it. Like I've
Mhm.
seen pretty much like the music library and you when you play with Pib, and that's pretty much like the two things. But definitely like from your performance, it definitely has like a lot of like I was gonna, I guess before we actually talk about this, I was leaning more towards like heavy rock more than punk itself.
Mhm.
But I can definitely see the punk influences now that you actually mention it. Like excuse me, I don't know much punk, but I was gonna say definitely I can see the Nirvana in it. Say what?
Mhm.
Oh, well, I
No.
can see. Oh, I can see the Nirvana. I can see the Nirvana in it. I can see sort of like the like, not like the angsty teenager, but more like a towards like a more developed and more mature type of version of it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's like more of the punk aesthetics that I like. Like when I was in high school, I did like pop punk. Like I loved Green Day when I was in high
Hmm.
school, but now it's like matured into like the post punk that I said I like, and that's why a lot of times I'll wear like a button up shirt because I like that. I like looking like formal and like business, but then playing like more aggressive, like out there stuff. I like that like juxtaposition.
Are you gonna move up to a suit soon, like a full on just like black suit,
Actually,
white shirt?
I wore like a blazer at this house show like a few weeks ago, like a gray blazer, and that was fun. I like doing that.
Dude, that's like I love that aesthetic because it sends such a weird message, and people are like, "What is this guy gonna do?" And then he starts playing punk's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, exactly. It like shocks them.
Hmm. But so what have you like been using this time while we're pretty much on lockdown to do?
Um, just record a lot, write a lot of music. Um, it's like I'm always recording. I
Hmm.
I like I did a interview with WIDR like several months ago, like last semester, and they asked me about like writer's block, and I felt weird saying it, but it's true. It's like I never really run out of ideas. Like I feel like I can't get them out fast enough. Like I'm just recording all the time because I don't know. It's like all I really want to do is like perform and record. Like those are the two things that I just love to do more than anything.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm just constantly thinking about like new topics that I could dive into and new sounds and like I'm along with like being a musician, like I'm and an artist, I'm a huge like music nerd and I'm just constantly trying to find new albums and like what's on the cutting edge. And so like listening to music is also just a big hobby because I like to like discover things.
So what would you say like your process of writing is? Like what like the steps do you take? Because I know a lot of people they have their own formulaic thing, and sometimes they don't do that. They sort of just get stuck. Like personally for me, when I'm like making music, I just pretty much sit down, just try a few things, see what sort of works, and then more or less I will like listen to something and then try to like convert it back to what I'm doing.
Um, Usually things just hit me out of nowhere and I just
Hmm.
have to like write it down or like whip out like the voice memo app on my phone. So sometimes like and I found recently the best way for me to write lyrics is to just continuously write lyrics. So like I have this app, like I have this in the notes app on my phone, I have a little page that's just for like little lyrical lines. And so if somebody says something to me and I just like the way that sounded, or if just a phrase comes in my head, I always just will write them down. And then I used to like think more of like drum rhythms and bass grooves, and like when I'd be playing, I'd be like, that was cool, and I'd record it and just loop stuff. Um, Now that I've like the past few months like playing in Pib and just playing a lot more shows, I've gotten a lot better at guitar because I'm originally a bassist.
Hmm.
But I've my guitar skills this past year have gotten way better. So now have written a lot more on guitar, and I'm thinking of like more melodic stuff. And yeah, either like something will just happen in my head, or I'll just be like pick up my guitar, just be noodling around, and then I'll just find something that I like and just either put it in my notes app or I'll start recording it. And like I write and record at the same time. So it's like I'll
You're always recording it, just so you know.
it's like I'll put down the guitar line and then I'll record, I'll think of a bass line and then I'll put a drum thing in. I'm just like looping all of that in Logic. And so it's like, well, like after I've like written the song, it's like now I have a demo because it's like I've recorded it while I've written it, because yeah, that just works the best for me being a one man project.
Hmm. Honestly, especially when you're doing things like that, is so efficient just to be able just to put it out there as soon as you can. Because once you like, when the ideas are fresh, just to have something concrete that you can use, so you're not trying to misremember or try to just have it where it's just once it's like been a day. I know for me, it's just gone. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can maybe like I can remember the feeling of it, but like
Mm-hmm.
the general actual like specifics of it is just dust.
Yeah, I've forgotten a lot of things. I'll be like, oh, when I get home, I'll like write that down. And I forgot it.
I know like it's I am always scared of using like my little voice app thing because I like where are you gonna go unless I can go to your car or something to record it. Either that or you like hold up your phone like you're gonna look like a crazy person trying to like
Yeah.
beatbox into your phone.
Or I always think about like what my roommates think. I mean, they're supportive of my music. Like they're really supportive. They like it, and they've always um like complimented me about it and stuff. But like I'll just be in my room and I just like think about like what are they hearing outside of it, because um especially when I'm like coming up with vocal lines, like I'll structure out a whole song, I have the instrumental and stuff,
Hmm.
and then like I'll just play it and I'll just pick up a microphone and then I'll just like kind of improv stuff, like improv melodies and stuff, but I don't have any lyrics written, so I'm just like passionately singing gibberish into a microphone. Sometimes I'm just like yelling shit, but it's all gibberish.
You know
And then
that's what I forget who it is. I think uh Kanye West he does that when he's writing his new music. At
oh
least I don't
yeah,
know if he does it anymore, but he used to.
yeah, because like honestly, it's like the sounds and the delivery are way more important than the lyrics. Like
Hmm.
in regards to if people are gonna like it, like people like music on they think they listen to it and it like if they like the sound, then they're gonna like the song. Then when they listen to it again, then they're gonna listen to the lyrics. The lyrics aren't really like a selling point usually. I mean,
Hmm.
there is value in writing good lyrics, but it all comes down to the presentation and how it all sounds. And so I'm like, let's get how the melody of the vocals and how these vocals are going to be delivered first, and then lyrics to match it after.
Hmm. That's the whole thing why people can just like absolutely love something like K-pop or J-pop or something like that. No idea what they're saying, but it just feels good, you know. And so that's
Yeah.
just like the whole thing where like music just people say like music doesn't transverse language. I think it does. I
Mm-hmm.
like you can literally listen to something you have no idea what it might be. Like you can listen to let's I'm trying to think of the craziest thing. South Korean reggae music. Let's say something crazy like that. You can listen to that and like if you can vibe with it, that's all that really matters, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few albums that I like that are in different languages, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's the sound.
Yeah. Um so like what do you have like planned for the future? Like so I don't know what your like goals are. Like what do you have like planned on want to try to do in the future?
Um, well, I was really focusing on singles last year, and so now just moving forward, I'm gonna focus on like projects because I think that's to my strength. Like I'm really I like putting together songs that are all gonna complement each other in a track list and some like then focusing on like a new concept on each one, coming up with a new aesthetic. So I'm gonna focus on EPs now. I'm not gonna put them out like as fast as I put out those singles. Like I put a lot of months into this EP that I just put out, and so like the next one that'll eventually come out, it's like I have no idea when it will come out.
Hmm.
But like I said, I'm always writing, so I always have stuff in the works. Um, yeah,
What
I'm
is
just
what is the EP called? I don't think you ever said it.
it's called Get Lost.
Get Lost. Okay.
Yeah, and it's on all streaming platforms, and yeah, that's all you need to know.
Quick plug. Quick plug.
Mhm.
But
And yeah,
oh,
I'm
go ahead.
just to have EPs. That's what I see in the future. Um, just trying to feel fulfilled with the music that I'm putting out. I feel like with this last EP, it was literally the first thing that I've ever put out that actually like once I like made Get Lost, I was like, even in the process of making, I'm like, I feel like I'm finally making the music that I've always wanted to make. Like
Hmm.
this EP feels like a realization for me because my other stuff, like I feel like some bands have the problem of they're very like one dimensional. Like it's like maybe like they're cool for a song or two, but it's like all the songs start to sound the same. I
Hmm.
feel like I had the opposite problem. It's still like a big problem for me where I was just like my songs were not cohesive. Like they were all over the place genre wise and shit because I was just experimenting. I didn't know what to do. And then
That's probably
I think
better.
I was always like afraid to like go down like the darker um punk route just because even though that was authentic to me, just because I was like um I didn't know if that was gonna like make me feel negative all the time, like constantly like make pumping out like sadder, darker music or
Hmm.
in tone and quality and stuff. But I found that like that makes me feel good. Like I process like I only really listen to like sad and dark music now. Um, but I don't feel like I process it like a lot of other people. I feel like when I listen to something that just like really resonates with me, but it's really like dark in tone or depressing, I'm like I feel happy afterwards because it's like I feel like I related to it or they turned like this chaos into something like beautiful and artistic.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm just finally like realizing that like I relate to those tones. So that's what I'm like planning on doing moving forward. And want to do shows as soon as I can, but I have no idea when that will be. We had like 5 Pib shows and I had like 2 Shankool shows in the works, but some of them are gonna get rescheduled probably. Um,
Because everything just shut down. It's just sort of everybody's playing by ear because no one really knows a month out or something like that.
yeah.
So, hmm um, so how, so pretty much, how do you do your gigs? So pretty much like how's like gigging for you? Like, do you like what's the best parts about it? Not the best parts about it. Like, what's that for you?
Um, I really love performing. Like for me, I love recording and writing just as much as performing. Like they're equal to me,
Hmm.
and because I'm just so into the whole like process of everything when it comes to music. Like I just love just creating this whole persona and character and writing and from it and stuff. Like just making it really immersive. So performances are a big part of that for me, and I like I feel like I want to put my all into performances like um yeah, I spent a lot of time practicing and it's really easy for me to rehearse because it's just me so I can rehearse whenever I want, so I'll rehearse like a lot leading up to each show.
Hmm.
um and yeah, I just try and since I don't have a band, it's like I have a lot of um backing tracks that I play off my computer, and so but I try and play and sing like when I think of each song when I'm about to do it live, like getting ready to do it live, I think like how much of this can I actually perform like myself? Like how much of the guitar parts can I play? How much of this vocal parts can I sing? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think of like the most I can possibly do, and then all the rest I'll have backing tracks for. And so um and I'm also like I'm putting a lot of, but that has made me think like, since I have to rely on that, I mean, I guess I'm not really relying, it's just a different approach. But since like I don't have a band, it's just me, there's not as much to look at. And people may say there's less, some may say there's less musicianship. Like what, like I said earlier, what can I give them that's still worth their time coming out? And so, yeah, just putting on a theatrical performance. And my music is really usually energetic a lot of the time, or I can make it energetic when I'm playing. So I'll just like, and I like to, like, I love to dance to music. Like, music is very physical to me. The type of music I like is usually very physical. Sometimes I'll just dance around my room when I'm listening to stuff. Like, I just love getting out that energy. So, um, like, that plays into it as well. Because I remember watching a YouTube video a while back talking about like what we accept as like good musicianship for performances, and one like quote that stuck out to me was, people, when it comes to performances, people listen with their eyes, which is very true. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're like playing a solo but you're just kind of like standing there in the corner and just kind of like looking down,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to if you're just like throwing your body around as you like play the solo, people will perceive like the same solo as like sounding so much better if you're throwing your body around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like not like I do any movements that are like inauthentic. Like I'm not like everything I do, it's like I'm going really hard and I'm thinking about being theatrical, but at the end of the day, it's still like very authentic to the character and the music and the message. Like it still matches everything. I'm not just doing anything like totally randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really enjoy doing that. And it's cool because I feel like and people have told me this before, it's like they'll say, I didn't expect you to do what you just did. Like I kind of stick out in like the Kalamazoo scene. Like I can't really think of anyone that I sound like, which is like good and bad. Cause like, it's been, not that it's been, like I've been getting solid shows now, but I feel like at the beginning, like to break into the scene, it's like I don't
It's
really
tough. Yeah.
fit. Yeah, I don't really fit a sound that's like common in the area. So it's like they don't know. Like they're hesitant to put me on a show, or like I don't.
Mm-hmm.
If they're putting together a show that has all artists the same genre, it's like I don't fit any of those genres. But yeah, I'd rather be unique and kind of just march to the beat of my own drum. The only thing I don't like about my shows is that like I've been to, because in Kalamazoo it's like you play house shows, which is really cool because I've like never seen a city where the house show scene is so prevalent. Like it's really cool that so many people are willing to just host all these bands in their basement. And then like usually it's way better than like bands playing at bars, because at bars like people just want to hear like fun music.
Yeah.
But in a house show, like nobody's really doing it for the money because you don't get paid shit. Like I mean, you could get donations and sell shirts, but it's really not much. So it's like people are just
You get
really there.
tips essentially. Yeah.
People are there for like the art and the music, so they're willing to see anything and do anything. So that's why I think Kalamazoo is a really cool music scene. But sometimes I go to house shows and I don't know a single person there,
Mm-hmm.
and like the bands can all hang out with each other, but like I'm a one like man operation, so sometimes I just have to like wait to go on. I'm just like, I don't know. Sometimes
Just
it's a little lonely because I'm there for a few hours, just don't know a single person, chill by myself. I'll just be like sitting in the corner on my phone. I've had people like walk up to me because I think I just went to a house show by myself. They're like, "Hey, what's your name?" They'll like introduce themselves. They're like, "Who'd you come to see?" And I'm like, "I'm performing." They're like, "Oh," like they don't understand that.
mm-hmm.
You just don't see a lot of like solo artists in Kalamazoo. Like it's all like indie bands and stuff.
Yeah, you definitely stand out on that front. Like, there's not many. Like, it really only goes down to two. It's usually like a little duo, somebody's like doing guitar and maybe like vocals or something like that.
Mhm.
But definitely doing like the solo thing, it has its bonuses. 'Cause like you said, you can practice all you want. You can change it on a dime. It's
Mhm.
like you had all the flexibility, but all the drawbacks. You know,
Mhm.
so it's
Yeah.
definitely cool.
It's like there's good and bad. For like where I'm at right now, like this is it feels like the right move. Like I don't feel like it's really taking me down at all. But yeah, I could see if I were to expand in the future, I would definitely like it's like I could choose if I could have a band, I would totally have a band.
Hmm.
But this is just super convenient for right now, and I'm able to do it and stand out. So that's just what I'm doing. But um yeah, playing with people is really cool too.
Are you looking for a band?
I was at the beginning of the year. I had like two people that were interested, and then like one of them fell through, and then I was just like people have fallen through just in
Hmm.
so many bands like in the past with me that I'm just like so
You're
hesitant.
over it.
Yeah, I'm just like over it. And so my mindset right now has been if people come to me and say they are very interested in joining me. So I guess if anyone's watching, you'd be super committed and you'd want to like play with me, I would love to have you. So like I'm not going to go out and search for people right now cuz I'm doing fine. I would like to have people, but I'm just going to I'm going to be optimistic and say the right people will come to me at the right time.
There you go. If you're listening, make sure you go in. You're in for a treat. Trust me. um. So what's been like some of your best or like least favorite gigs that you done?
Um I really like I've hosted a couple house shows at my own house. Um, I've moved houses like within just like the same street in Kalamazoo. We did two at our old house. We did one last semester, and those were all really fun because like there's a lot of work because I like plan it out and get like a crew together to like run sound and everything. But like those, nothing matched those because a lot of the house shows, like the venues, are putting on so many that like not that many, like the crowd's really spread out. Like not that many go to each show. So you're not
Hmm.
that big of crowds. But we would just do like one show a semester, and we would just um like promote it really hard. And I like since it was my show, I would pick the lineup. So I picked like all the like the last one we did last semester was like all of my favorite bands in the area, and then I played as well. And then
Hmm.
we like my roommates are they're all like they all major in something in the theater department. So they just got like they invited like a lot of people in the theater program to come out, and then we put it on DIT Kalamazoo, and we had all the like we were all promoting it for weeks, and like the shows we've put on have gotten really good turnouts, and just um that's when I see the most people that listen to my music like come to the shows that I've put on, and then I'll hear people like singing my lyrics at some of those, and those were always really great.
Hmm. Awesome. Like, how is it to actually like put on a show? Because I can imagine if it's anything like just hosting like a general house party, it is hectic. Like
Yeah,
honestly.
it especially leading up. I mean, the hardest thing is just scheduling it because you need.
Hmm.
I would like the last one I did had three other bands plus me, so we had four people performing, and then there's like four or five people in each band, and then I needed to make sure all my roommates were in on it. I had to make sure I have this crew of two people that one of them is a mat major, and then the other and he would run sound, and then there's another like theater major who would like act as like kind of like a stage manager. Like he would kind of direct the bands and like move equipment and stuff, and they were really great. Like everyone had to like have that day of
Hmm.
like I know some people that's like their job to schedule like events, but like um I can't imagine that because like just to put on like one event like that was always just so stressful. But then when it like we finally got it together and like the show happened, because then we'd all like party afterwards. It was great. It was fun
Mm.
time.
Yeah, it's one of the big things. Like I wish I was able to go to a house show. I just never had the time to do it. Whoop.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. I thought the video was about to go out. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm gonna have to do it before I graduate. I got one more semester. That's like one of my big goals here now.
Mhm. Oh, definitely. Are you aware of DIT Kalamazoo, like the
Yeah,
website?
I've heard of it. Just so people know, can you explain what DIT is?
It's a DIT Kalamazoo is a website. There you go on, and everybody just lists the house shows that are happening, and so they have like the name of the house show venue and the bands there, and kind of like the genres and any other information that you need to know. And there's like multiple house shows happening every week, like all year. Like Kalamazoo, like I said, just has really good scene for that, and you see a lot of interesting underground bands. And then yeah, you can just message the venue if you don't know where the address is, because usually they're in the Vine neighborhood or
Mm.
the student ghetto, as it's called. And it's just a place where a lot of students live, a lot of old houses. And yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just a big goal to go, and they're always fun. You know, it's always chill. Nothing really ever happens. It's a party of a bunch of. I was gonna say, well, yeah, it's a lot of artists and stoners essentially. That's how you
Mhm.
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Um, I think we're pretty much wrapping up with anything. So no, actually, I pretty much asked that. I was gonna ask like, what do you have for the future? But pretty much, I think we have that.
Mhm.
Is there anything else you want to add?
Um, just stream the new EP, and if you like what you hear, um, I've always got stuff in the works. You can follow me on social media if you just type in Shankool, and you'll probably find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I'm the most present on Instagram if you want to go follow me there. And yeah, just once shows start happening again, look out for me with shows. Or if you are someone that books shows, I would love to play. And if you're a musician, maybe we could play together. And yeah, that's about it.
Cool, awesome. I think that is everything. So yeah, has been Shankool, everyone. This has been Music Library Remix. If you like what our videos are, make sure to follow us. Everything. Follow us on Twitter as well. Like I said, this has been Shankool. Awesome, dude. Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. See you guys later.
Backwoods and